If you've always had a goal of adding 2 plates to the barbell and hitting that 225-pound bench press, this video is for you. I've been certified as an ACE personal trainer since 2015 and have been working out for close to 20 years. Trust me, I understand how big this milestone can seem. If you feel that weight teasing you, I will show you a way to increase your odds of being able to lift 225 pounds and show good principles to adhere to, regardless of if you hit that arbitrary number or not. Whether you're wanting to hit 185 for the first time or clear 315 or just want to feel stronger, this will help. We all come in different sizes, shapes, and proportions, which can all have impacts on how quickly or effectively we can lift 225 pounds of weight loaded onto a bar. While I know this may seem like a small milestone to some, I know how important it is to those to whom fitness is a top priority. Let's dive in. For those that are blessed with good proportions, benching 2 plates is really just a matter of taking training seriously and can be achieved in a few months. However, this was not the case for me, whether it was proportions or lack of a good training routine when I was a teenager. Now, after almost 20 years of lifting weights, I can help you hit it faster. For example, more is not always better. I would just repeat sets and sets of bench press, hoping it would speed things up. Spoiler, it doesn't work. If it did, simply working out all day would be all one would need to do. All it gave me was more zits and smaller arms. While it is exhilarating to clear 2 plates, some might be able to do so easily with good training, and others might find it harder to achieve. Also, subscribing can help you bench press as well. It really would mean so much if you would consider it. Moving on, sometimes pursuing an arbitrary number on the bar makes about as much sense as saying that you love Brussels sprouts. However, I get it, you have to do what you have to do. Now, if you're all in and ready to hit your gym, garage, or whatever weights you have, let's crush it. The first and most important factor is your training. After all, although obvious, if you're not consistent training, you won't get results. Now let's go over programming. We need to start with how your program is set up. Research and science has shown that in order to be able to lift heavy weights, you have to train heavy, at least in cycles. That is not to say you have to max out all the time, but you will need to have heavier training periods. I would recommend a good strength training resistance plan. This would include training your primary compound lifts 2 to 3 times a week, of which bench press is 1. Further, I would recommend lifting anywhere from 3 to 8 repetitions a set. Also, try to train about 70 to 80% of roughly your 1 rep max. This will keep you on track. This means that any good program will include these principles with a good pressing movement. A good pressing movement could be a flat barbell bench press, dumbbell flat press, incline press, or even an overhead shoulder press. You also need to have a mode of progression or include progressive overload in your routine. This would mean increasing weight when you're ready, mixing up frequency, changing repetitions, or adding or taking away volume as needed. You can experiment with changing one thing at a time and seeing how it impacts your strength. If you really want to crush 225 pounds, then you will need to push heavy weight and lift heavier than you're initially comfortable with. Still needs to be safe, but it does need to be heavy. The honest truth is progressive overload and repeating the exercise you're trying to strengthen is what will really get results. You need to practice the correct movement pattern. You need to push hard and give yourself enough time to recover between workouts. If it isn't broke, don't fix it or mess with it. Doing one arm swimming bicep curls, one leg at a time, will not improve your bench. Shocker, I know. Rep ranges, volume, and intensity can all be adjusted slightly. Listen to your body and see where you feel strongest and see best improvements. One lifting style will not work best for everyone. Some will get stronger by doing a couple repetitions, and others will see improvement when doing 6 to 8 reps. As long as you lift heavy, push close to failure, and really push it, you should be good to go. As someone who regularly lifts weights, I know it can be easy to get in the habit of lifting weights and going through the motions. For some, consistency is not hard. You're committed. Many never want to miss a day. However, sometimes pushing a little harder and not getting comfortable can be even more important than just making sure you hit all your main lifts every time. The habit is good, but pushing hard may be more crucial. It always helps to have a training partner, personal trainer, or someone to spot for safety as well. Now, let's analyze the lift itself. Oftentimes we get self-conscious and wonder who is staring at us as we lift. The next thing you might think, or I hope you think of, is good technique. While I cannot show you exact technique through this video, I do feel confident in describing to you how to lift correctly, as I have through trial and error early on lifted incorrectly until I learned. I hope to save you some time. Remember, again, we all come in different sizes, and one technique does not work for all people, just like one shoe size does not fit all. One thing that does vary is how wide we grip the bar, as some feel better with a narrower grip, while others prefer a wider grip. And no, a wider grip is not cheating, it just works better for some as they feel it more in their chest. Remember, when you bench, you're not just isolating your pectoralis muscles, but you're also working out your shoulders and your triceps. They're involved as secondary movers. If someone gives you crap about it for gripping wide, they probably just prefer a narrow grip. They probably have shorter arms than you. Again, we're all different. You can experiment with how you place your hands or grip. If you have pain in your shoulders, move your grip until it feels better. Sometimes a slight back arch can help, but not too much. I would place your feet firmly on the ground, just a little behind where you would normally keep them when sitting. Also work on breathing technique. That works for you is you bring in the weight and then push and exhale back out. You will have to test out some of these, as your height and other factors can affect best placement for you. Don't feel confined to only one option you saw someone do online. The only reason you would have to stick to set ways if you were competing in an official powerlifting competition, and if you are, you probably don't need this video. Again, test out different techniques. You should try variations from your normal form or routine. Tweak it if you will, something you don't intend to implement long term. Could be fun to mix things up, or could help you feel the movement differently in a way that will help you progress. If you don't try different ways to lift, you will never know what will help push you to bench higher numbers. Here are some of my personal strategies I have used additionally. A lot of people run into a sticking point in their bench press movement where they just get stuck. This is a point where they tend to most often fail. If you've ever been in a gym, I'm sure you've seen this even out of the corner of your eye many times. Even if the person can lift the weight, you might see a noticeable pause or trouble area. You can target these areas with specific options. For example, a block press, which can target points closer to lockout at the top of the lift. This is just simply when you put a block on your chest to limit the range of motion. Or conversely, you can do pause reps, which can help you to focus on areas at the bottom of the range of motion closer to your chest. This is when you stop or pause at the bottom for a deep push. Block presses limit your range of motion, so you can actually help your body get used to lifting heavier weights than you do with a full range of motion. You can even lift heavier weights than your 1 rep max and allow your body to get used to the heavier weight. This causes neuromuscular adaptations as you get used to this heavier weight. This will in turn increase your max ability to lift the weight. Another thing to do is to analyze and identify weak or lagging muscles. This comes down to programming, but it's something you can adjust. You would have to identify this through lifting. In the case of the bench press, it could be your triceps, pectoralis, chest area, or shoulder muscles. For example, if it was your triceps, you would then want to program in more tricep work at different angles to strengthen them. Whether it's a tricep pushdown, close grip bench, or skull crushers, you want to further develop this muscle. Now, most people can improve their bench press with consistency and old-fashioned hard, heavy lifting. I was someone who was obsessed with bench pressing for years and overtrained. It took me quite some time to hit 225, although my chest looked like one of my more developed body parts. Rest days matter, and doing 15 sets of bench won't make you stronger. I promise I have done it. Since you've stuck around to this point, I would like to share some final points that made all the difference in my strength gains. That is, shockingly, bench pressing less, recovering, and using machines. Yes, those same machines that people throw shade at as not being real lifts. I'm talking about those same machines that need a good clean off to get the last person's sweat and make you feel stronger because you can usually lift more with them. They may not be quite as sexy as barbells or dumbbells, but they have a place in your fitness routine. The thing they provide is control. You can focus on the movement, really feeling it in the muscle it is targeting, and not having to stabilize your core as much with energy going towards that. Whereas you have to maintain the stability and control when bench pressing or squatting with a compound movement, the machine takes some of the work out of it. You can then focus on driving the primary movement and muscle. This creates a powerful mind-muscle connection. Most machines also start at the bottom of the lift instead of the top, as most free weights do. And this way you can focus uniquely on raising or the concentric portion of the lift. This may not seem like a big deal on the surface, but even if it is for 1 rep, it is allowing you to have neuromuscular adaptations and to better bench press. These new and unique angles can be game changers in helping you press more weight regardless of the plane of motion. strength still translates. And as an added bonus, machines are very convenient and usually are easier to get at a gym without waiting in a line. While they may not seem as satisfying as racking multiple plates, they can help you to work in a unique way to stimulate growth. If you're worried, as long as you don't replace all free weight work with machines, you should be fine with smaller stabilizer muscles developed with the bench press. This should cover a lot of important areas to increase your strength. Everything else should be pretty common sense, like getting enough sleep, having a high protein diet of roughly 1 gram per pound of body weight, drink plenty of water, and supplement as needed if you truly have deficiencies, and of course, maintain good mental health and physical health. You are what your habits are, and consistency is crucial with enough rest. Now, you should be good to go. Happy bench pressing. When you do hit those 2 plates, leave comments letting us know. Once you hit the milestone, you will now be able to look at the 3-plate lifting crowd with envy. After all, in fitness and life, there's always a bigger goal to attain, so always compare yourself to yourself in the mirror, not anybody else. As always, we try to bring real, practical fitness advice to everyday people. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a bench pressing thumbs up and subscribe for more helpful, healthy tips.